Hello, friend. Can I say something to you before I start? Marriage is good and enjoyable if you do the right thing. Last time we treated the top qualities to look for in your future wife, and then we also treated a perfect wife and how to find one. If you have not seen that video, check the description on this video for that video, okay? Now, but in this context, we want to look at top qualities to look for in your future husband. And I'm sure why you're going through this is because you want your marriage to be good and enjoyable. Now, there is this question that is a question of concern. And the question is this: are you actually looking for a man that you want to spend the rest of your life with? And that is marriage. So marriage is something you need to decide what exactly you want to do. If you are going in, you prepare your mind that you want to spend the rest of your life with this person. Now, how do you know when you have found him? That's an important question. Some people say that once you see the right person, you will know. But then, how do you know? I'm going to still do a video on how to know the will of God in marriage, all right? But you also need certain information to make the right decision. Okay? Some people say that it's like a light bulb going off your head once you see the right person. But sometimes what your head is desiring and what your heart actually prefers could be completely different. And so having a standard you are looking out for, or what we call minimum expectation you are looking out for, is essential in identifying the love of your life. Okay? And that is why we are making this discussion. We want to be showing here the green flags you need to watch out for in that man that is qualified enough to be your husband, in whose hands you will commit your life. In another video, check it, the link is also here. We'll be discussing the red lights, the red flags. Once you see those red flags, you avoid that kind of man for marriage. Okay? Now, we want to look at the green flags. What are those qualities that make up a man that you can consider for marriage? It's important you know those qualities. The first I want to discuss here is emotional maturity. This is a man who knows to keep you happy, to make you happy, to make you laugh, and yet he's able to hold his emotion in a very mature way. What is emotional maturity, by the way? It is listed here. One, it should be somebody who can manage his own emotion no matter what is happening. He's in charge. He doesn't lose grip because something is happening around him. And it's also someone who knows how to keep his cool even when he's passing through a tough situation. He doesn't have to transfer it to someone else, as though everybody must share in his problem. Okay, he acknowledges the fact that he he is wrong when he has made mistake and is willing to apologize. This is somebody who is emotionally mature. Apologizing doesn't reduce him as a person. For him, it's maturity to apologize when he has made any mistake. So take steps he takes steps to try to understand the person he's relating with, understanding the real person. He is calm and trying to understand the right person. He's not trying to allow emotions to move him in relationship. Okay, this is somebody who is emotionally mature. All right, and then when we say emotional intelligence in relationship, it's all about somebody being able to manage his emotion in a way that doesn't move, doesn't affect the next person negatively, and is also trying to understand the emotional, feelings of the next person in trying to make decision. Okay, so this is someone you can consider for marriage. And another one is the issue of communication. Of course, communication remains a key foundation in any great relationship. If there is no communication, if you cannot talk with someone so that you understand yourself, it becomes difficult to understand the person. Nobody knows our heart. It is when you are relating with people and you are talking, you get to know the person better. Okay, and that is what people try to do in dating. But maybe I'll still treat in another video the challenge of dating, the problem with dating, because dating is like marketing. This person is coming to market himself, the other person is coming to market herself, and then the two persons, if care is not taken, they will hide the real person in them. and it becomes a challenge. Okay, so communication helps you to unravel the person you are relating with. So if you are in any relationship and the person is not opening up for communication, I feel very uncomfortable with that person. A partner who communicates knows how to express his feelings, his desires, his needs without getting upset or getting you angry or getting him, getting angry while trying to do that. Listening is another important aspect of communication. When it comes, it comes very handy when you need to solve a problem. Okay, so when you speak with your partner or with your friend you are considering for marriage, you get to understand yourself. It's one of the key qualities you need to watch out for a man. Someone who can express himself clearly, not speaking to him parables. Like you need to, decode what he's saying. Why will he put you into the stress of decoding what he's saying? For instance, someone is around you and he wants to marry, but he has not come out plainly to say, "This is what I want." And he wants to believe that you should understand. For me, it's a game he's playing with your head and your feelings. So, a quality man doesn't play game with your heart, he comes out clear and comes out plain. All right. And this is should be someone who appreciates you as a person. Do not say yes to anybody who doesn't appreciate you as a person. You may not really appreciate this point, until you stay with someone who over the years doesn't acknowledge your love and your support. You feel draining. You feel like you are not, you are living a life that is thankless life. You will feel that you are not recognized, you are not accepted. So you should be someone who appreciates your little effort. His overall perspective about you should be positive. Yes, every human being can make mistake, but why that mistake is happening, and you are learning too, why he's learning, his overall perspective about you should be something positive. Okay, so if you don't feel appreciated in any relationship and you decide to stay in that relationship, I bet you are actually paddling in a very dangerous water. And if you are not careful, that water may bring something disastrous in your life. So this man should be inspirational in his disposition towards you. That's the point I'm trying to make. And another thing you need to watch out for is someone who respects you, who is considerate about you in making decision. Respect is key. Okay, that's one of the most important. Well, all of them are important, but that's one of the top qualities to look out for in a man. Someone who respects you. He wants to ask you for something and you are not willing to give that, and then he demonstrates understanding, not that he becomes angry and begin to see how to scatter the table, just to make sure you are forced or brought to a point where, out of compulsion, you need to give in to his demand. Okay, I proposed to a young lady and she said I needed to give her time. I said, "That's fine. I prefer giving time. 1 month is okay." "Or how long do you prefer?" She said, "3 months." I said, "Beautiful. 3 months is okay. If by 3 months and you are not yet made up, please do let me know." So you consider the persons. You understand that this person is an adult that should be able to make informed decision. And by the way, marriage is meant for adults. It's not meant for children. And that is why you allow the person to go and think about your proposal before you collect an answer. Except where in her own end, she's already made up expecting you to come. Yes, you can get answer that day. But if she's not made up, you need to allow her time. And that is why I get uncomfortable when I see young men. You want to surprise her on the streets of the road, by proposing with trumpets and friends, shouting, "Say yes, say yes, say yes." If indeed she hadn't said yes to you behind the scene, doing that thing for me is not being respectful. If I'm a lady and you do that to me and I'm not made up to marry you, I will quietly walk away from that scene. You should respect me. You don't bring me to the public except where the person is already expecting this proposal. Yeah, people can also want to do it to catch fun. Maybe you have already agreed that you are marrying and you decide to come and play that game. It's fun. You enjoy it. That's fine. But not when someone is not looking your direction. You now gather your friend and you think you can intimidate the person with the crowd and trumpeters. No, if I'm that lady, I will quietly walk away. And that will be a sign to me that you are not ready to consider me and respect me. Because that's a public show. Many of them will record it and put it online somewhere. And it speaks about the lady. So, and young lady, if they do it, you don't get angry. Be respectful and walk away, even if you are not going back to that relationship. Because if you are not careful, you demarket yourself while you are trying to say no, because you're already on the scene. And this day, the world is flat. That thing recorded on that scene could go global, to go viral. All right. So, a loving and respectful person will not call you names. He will not abuse you. He wants to. He will not be deliberate to do something that will hurt your feeling. He wants to be considerate about your feeling. He will want to also make sure that you are respected in his own family. He wants to make sure you are respected by his own family members, that you are valued, and he appreciates your time. He doesn't use flimsy excuses to disappoint you. And sometimes when they do, they don't even consider how you feel. For me, if you are seeing that sign in a man, it's a sign that that person may not be a good husband for you. All right. So the person appreciates your feeling, appreciates you, and value your time. Another important thing is trustworthy. Trust is the anchor, is the hinge that holds the door of relationship. Is the anchor that holds that ship of relationship. If there is no trust, there is no relationship at all. And so if you cannot trust any man and you are playing around him for marriage, you may be digging your grave with your own hand. Trust is key. And you don't demand for trust, you earn trust. That man should be able to earn your trust. See the picture here. This lady can comfortably try to fall because she's sure a trustworthy man is there to receive him. Okay? And then getting married is actually carrying your heart and putting in the hand of a man. You carry all of them and there is no reserve, and put in the hand of a man. So anybody you cannot trust, please do not do not do not say yes to him, because it's key. Trust is very, very important. He shouldn't be demanding that you should trust him. He should earn that trust by his actions. And how do you earn the trust? His communication, his transparency in his dealing with you. Being plain enough. All right. So that if he sees that you are suspicious of something, it should be his responsibility to carefully walk you out of that suspicion, so that he makes sure that you don't have that feeling. He tried to come as plain as possible. There was this young lady that he had this friend around him, introduced the guy as a casual friend to me. He's someone I've mentored over the years, a young lady. So he introduced this guy, told her that this guy looks too smart for you. I think there's something he's not telling you. He said, he's a casual friend, he's a nice friend. I said, okay, that's fine. What's his job? He says he's a captain in Nigerian army. I said, wow, that's good. But I bet you this guy is going to propose to you. I see what he's doing. He's doing what I call crowding out effect. Crowding out effect is where a man begins to go around you as a lady, showing a sign, like a cock does around the hen, showing a sign that he's interested in you. And when he's doing that, he will make all other people around you to excuse you, to excuse that relationship, to go away from you. I call it crowding out effect. Some people will finish doing it and they are not saying anything to you. That's not fair. If you have such a person trying to do a crowd out effect a relationship, please avoid him, so that you don't lose the rare person who is supposed to come to you, because that rare person will want to be gentle enough and avoid that kind of complicated issue. Yeah, some people say, yeah, you can take it by force. Gentlemen in marriage, those who make sustainable marriage, they don't like to take it by force. If you don't like them, if you don't love them, they will walk away. Okay? So the guy was doing this kind of crowding out effect on the lady, and then the lady had visited him in the office as a captain, not knowing that that thing was an arrangement. The guy wasn't any captain. Okay, but when he took the lady went to the barracks to see him. Real soldiers in their uniform were saluting him, and she was saluting her. She was ushered into the captain's office. You see evidence that this person is a high-ranking officer, but that was an arrangee. It was not real. Okay, and then later the guy proposed to her, and like I said, while she was considering, she told me about it, and so we began to do background check. And then in the course of doing that, we found out that he wasn't actually married, and he had a relationship, not with a lady. He had a dealing with a guy that he helped to rescue a situation. Somebody was owing the guy, so the guy invited him. He went and gingered like a captain, and part of the debt was paid, promising that the rest will be paid later. He went behind them and collected that money. So the guy had to trace the young man. He was nowhere to be found. He was excusing himself that he was in army training and all of that. So the guy went for the uncle of the man, because the lady, this my young girl, had introduced this man to the uncle of the man. So he went for the uncle and said, "We'll arrest you if you don't produce this guy." He said, "Is it that guy? That guy is a crook. That guy is never a captain in Nigerian army. That what he actually does is to package himself and deceive young ladies. That he's a barracks boy. He grew up in the barracks and had this nickname called captain. So soldiers come, they call him the same nickname, and if you are not careful, you will think he's a captain, but he's only a barracks boy. He has never enrolled in Nigerian army." And so he has squandered with that money. He told them that, by the way, this guy is married. The wife and the children, they are staying somewhere in Ajegunle in Lagos State, Nigeria. And so he went around deceiving young ladies, and then if you are not careful, you will become one of his preys. Okay, so you need to be careful what happens, that this person you are talking with, if you don't unravel the real person, you may be starting the beginning of the trouble of your life. So this person is someone you can trust. And also, if this person cannot trust you, is a problem for you as a lady. You also don't ask the man, "Can't you trust me?" You should be deliberate to earn his trust. But I say something: if you have done all you can do to earn his trust and he still doesn't trust you, please do not step into that relationship for marriage, because things will still happen in marriage. By the way, yesterday was my wedding anniversary with my darling wife. We celebrated 15 years of sweets and wonderful marriage that God has helped us. So if someone doesn't, if someone doesn't trust you, things will still happen in the marriage, that if he doesn't trust you, he will accuse you even when you are innocent. And that is why you need to avoid anybody who cannot trust you as a lady. Small thing is suspecting you. He called you, didn't pick call immediately. He started suspecting that something is happening. Who is keeping you busy? And all of that. If someone can't trust you, please do not go into that relationship. Otherwise, you are starting a journey you will not enjoy. Another thing is that this person should value you as a human being. He should value you and be able to believe in your capability. You are not a child anymore. You should be able to make reasonable contribution to decisions. And he should give listening ear to your contribution. Not when you want to say something, say, "Yes, I know what you're saying, keep it there." There was this young lady in this relationship, and then he loved the young lady, the young man, and then the young man also loved her, and they had agreed to marry. But she was being suffocated with something. This guy wouldn't value her input. The guy feels that he is senior, he knows better than her, she doesn't know anything. They are discussing, she wants to make contribution. He say, "Yes, I know what you're trying to say is not the right thing to do. Let's do it this way." She wants to say something, say, "Yes, I know what you're trying to say is not the right thing." So he was always talking her down, not allowing her to express herself. So she came to myself and my wife to share that feelings, and we told her, "Look, if you enter into this relationship without treating this fear, you are not doing the right thing. So learn to treat your fear in relationship is important." She now say, "What we should do?" He said, I told her that look, the Bible, the Holy Bible says somewhere, Jesus said, "If you lose your life, you will gain it." Now you love him. Are you willing to lose him? If you are willing to lose him at this point, you may finally gain him. He said, "How do we do that?" I said, "Go and tell him that because of this attitude, you are leaving this relationship. And mean it when you say it. If you do, he will come to know why you are saying that. Then present this." That's negotiation. Ladies should know how to negotiate themselves into marriage. You don't keep quiet when things you don't appreciate are happening. So that was what she did. And so this guy got worried, actually came to me to say, "That young lady is saying no to me now. He's not willing to marry me anymore." I said, "Why? Go and find out from her what is her reasons." He went and tried to find out, and he now found out that he was the one that had the problem. And so he was ready to treat that case. Today they are happily married and he's doing so well. I asked him something, say, "Let me ask my wife." That kind of thing. So if they don't learn the lesson at the point of relationship, it's not when they marry you they will begin to do it. Then this man should be someone that is solution oriented. He shouldn't be someone who is always coming to tell you problems and problems and problems, and he's not actively working towards any solution. If you get into that, you may also become part of his problem tomorrow. Another one is the issue of common values. Two of you should share common values. Okay, that's a key quality. Research has shown that couples who share faith, for instance, are more likely to view their relationship as special, are more likely to share common value. And then, what is value, by the way? Values are those rules of life that inherently guide how you live your life. They are deeply rooted in personal belief that are fundamental to who you are. They are also difficult to change. So if you see a man who has a different value from yours, and you think that marriage will change him, you are deceiving yourself. Watch out for somebody who has the same value as you do. Yeah, you may think it's not important, but it should be someone that is able to make you laugh. Humor is one of the most sought after in marriage. If someone cannot keep you happy in that relationship, then you are in for a big wahala, a big problem. All right, so it is very, very important you watch out if this person is interested in your happiness. All right, and then it should be somebody that is adaptable. He should be willing to adapt. The only thing that is constant we know is change. Okay, so it should be somebody who is open to change and growth. Life is full of surprises and challenges everywhere. So this guy you are looking at or considering should be somebody who is willing to change and adapt to situation. It could be change in terms of a relationship. It could be change in terms of career. Maybe he has lost his job or something. He shouldn't give up. That resilience should be there to push on. It should be, like personal goals. He should be able to adapt and be very supportive and flexible. This is someone who is adaptable. And another thing is the issue of being generous. Generosity in a husband goes beyond material things. The guy you are considering, it goes beyond the gift he's bringing to you. You may be receiving a lot of gift from somebody, but that person is not truly generous in terms of giving oneself. Because what you actually do in marriage is that you are giving your life into his hand. Does he trust you? Is he generous enough to also give his life into your own hand to marriage? Okay, he should be generous with his time, affection, and support, whether it has to do with helping you with household activities and or emotional support, or simply showing love. Generosity is key in relationship, and you need to watch out for it. Someone wants you to always pay the bill. You are still talking with this guy for relationship, but he's always finding a way of making sure you are the one paying this bill. Be careful. If you enter into it, don't complain. Be ready to keep paying that bill until death do you part, because you saw it coming. These are signs you watch out for. But someone who is ready to take responsibility, take charge of what is happening. Not because you want to go and do medical tests to check whether you are medically fit, suitable to each other. Is asking you to pay the bill. That's the sign you need to watch out for. If I were you and I pay that bill, that would be the end of that relationship. Except there is obvious reason why he's asking for it, and then you are ready to bear it. Another thing is true love, real love. Only real love can sustain these qualities in a man in the long run. In economics, we talk about short run and long run. In the short run, factors of production are not all of them can change. When you talk about the factory, land, capital, some of these things cannot change in the short run. But few other things can change in the short run in terms of labor and all of that. But in the long run, everything can change. So in the long run in relationship, it's true love that can help a man to remain true to his vows of that marriage. Okay, and then another key thing which I'll end with is God fearing. At certain point, his respect for God could be the only thing that will sustain him in that marital vows. His respect for God. And that is why you watch out for someone who sincerely fear God. It should be someone who knows that he is accountable to God. He lives his life with the mindset that he's answerable to God. If he sees himself as God, as a person, then is a problem. Okay, someone who knows that he's answerable to God will most likely treat his wife with dignity, respect, and love. And that is where I want to end this by saying a potential husband may not be perfect in all of these qualities at the time you are engaging him, but there should be a sign that he possesses them and that he's willing to grow in these qualities. There should be a sign that he possesses these qualities, and then he should be willing to grow them over time. Okay, if he's not willing to grow them, then is a problem. If he's sincere and is open to learn, unlearn, and relearn, that's key in relationship. People should learn, unlearn what you see that this person doesn't like, and then relearn what is proper. If he's open to that learning and willing to grow in these areas, then it's someone you need to give a positive consideration. I'm not saying you must say yes to the person because he has all of these qualities. If he has all of these qualities, you give him a positive consideration. Ceteris paribus. You know what that means in economics? All things being equal. But if he has all of these qualities and there are things that are not equal, things that you don't agree with that are key, please do what we call voting by legs. Step out of that relationship. Okay, just a final thought. Don't say I do until he proves that he's ready. How can he prove that he's ready, and how can you know that he's ready? I leave that to you to define. You know why? This marriage is all about your life and your future. So decide what you want to do, because life is a matter of choice. We can only guide you, but take that decision, and don't be too much in a hurry to make this decision only to come and regret it tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening. That is my darling wife and myself, and this video was actually recorded in celebration of our 15th years of marriage. You want to hear her voice? Watch out the video we discussed on the red dangers and how to identify them, so that you avoid such kind of men that has a red flag on their shoulders. Thank you and stay blessed. Cheers.